From FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio, this is The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Handicapping all the football action, here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hello, good people. Welcome to another edition of The Odds Couple. It is another week of SEC football action, another week of the National Football League, another week of the Big Ten as they started last week. We got a big show for you today. Lance Taylor will join us from Birmingham, and we got another special guest that's going to be joining us here on the show. We got our picks coming up here on the program a little bit later on after a big week for all of us last week. This could be Separation Saturday, or Separation Weekend. So we got a lot to get into today, so let's get right to it. Hello, Lang Whitaker. Good to see you back. The tan looks amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I finally went over 500 in our picks, and I got kicked out of the resort. Home. So I'm back. It's great to be back. Good to see, Roser's fired up to be here too, and good to be
Roser, are you fired up to be here?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that mic testing we did before the show did not.
Let's go.
Didn't mean anything.
Sam
Make
Pittman's
some
here.
picks. Let's make some picks.
CJ Hurd in the house as well. Hello, CJ.
What up, everybody?
He's running away with our picks. 10 over 500 at 29-19 on the season.
Killing us.
Very well. He's up 104 Grind City units so
This is
far.
because
on
he
the
doesn't actually gamble on the game.
That's right.
If he gambled, he'd start thinking about
That's
it.
exactly
Don't
right.
think.
Don't think.
With your chest.
Yeah, just go with
Just
it.
go with it. What did we learn this past week, Lang?
I wonder if the door is cracked a little bit with Alabama with Jalen Waddle getting injured. They still have Najee Harris, Devontae Smith, but they have one less of those otherworldly players than they had.
They lost their best offensively.
Yeah.
Arguably.
Devontae Smith's the number one.
I don't know.
And Najee's pretty big.
They still have great players.
They lost one of their best
players.
Yeah.
So that maybe the door's cracked a little bit. And then the other thing I learned was, man, I'm going to follow Gus Malzahn to buy a lottery ticket. Like, that dude is the luckiest guy I've ever seen. And week after week, Auburn the lucky things happen to them. And somehow it keeps happening.
Yeah, that was mine this week. The Gus has a rabbit's foot. I mean,
something.
It just happens for them. And for him, a guy who is on the hot seat going into every season.
Yeah.
And then usually after a week or two, he's on the hot seat or he's taken himself off. And then 2 weeks later, he's on or he's off. But he's always teetering on that fence. And I found a way to win again, but you just wonder, is this going to be the year?
But I think this is – I'm going to reflect this in my picks later. I think the lesson I learned is that Gus is lucky.
Yeah.
Like, we got to just start betting on that. The good things are going to happen to this guy and this guy's team. Like, we keep thinking last week, we all of us were like, oh, Auburn's one of those teams on the brink. They're about to, get blown out this week, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So maybe we should stop doubting him.
Yeah. Roser?
I'll go to the NFL. The NFC East is the worst division in the history of football. The NFC West might be the best division in the history of football. And I'm sorry to do this to you, Lang. Somebody in the Atlanta Falcons organization needs to get really rich and write a book on how it is possible to blow games the way they do.
They have the opposite of what Gus Malzahn has.
Yes. They need to take a trip to Auburn and talk to Gus Malzahn.
Maybe they can hire him. I saw people. I saw people this week. There was an article saying the Falcons need to trade Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. I'm like, well, it's not their fault. Like, I don't blame them. Like, I want to keep the good players. Keep Julio for sure. Matt Ryan, we might kind of have Justin Fields or
I
Trevor
literally
Lawrence.
saw their final score, turned the channel, got a text from somebody that says, "Are you watching this Falcons game?" I was like, "Yeah, Falcons won. Nice way to win." And he goes, "No, they just lost." I was like, "How is that possible?"
I was driving back from the Grind City Resort and Casino, and I was listening on the radio, and I heard it all happen. And I was listening to the Falcons broadcast, and as things started falling apart, you kind of knew where it was heading. Yeah. And my wife was like, "Are you upset?" And I was like, "No, kind of not really." She was like, "But they're going to blow the game," and I was like, "Yeah, but we're going to get Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields." So I don't really mind that much. Wouldn't you rather just be in the game and then still get the loss?
Yeah, sure. I mean, make it exciting, make it interesting at least for a while, so you can watch.
The two best players in this draft are from Georgia: Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. So get a guy from home.
I think Lawrence might be the tougher one to get because
The Jets are working hard.
Man, if you've watched that Jets team play, I don't know how they're going to win a game.
Yeah, they're doing their best.
That's
Absolutely. Memphis Tigers got a big win last week. They got revenge on the Temple Owls as they knocked them off in preparation for a big one this week against a top 10 opponent in the Cincinnati Bearcats. Ryan Silverfield after the game talking about getting that win over Temple.
I was walking up and down the sideline. I saw some heads down, and I didn't like that. And I told our guys, we got to keep believing. It's the way we won. Look, if I'd be lying if I said this game wasn't important, if it didn't mean something in the history of this program and what we've occurred, obviously, as you guys know, as a grad assistant there at UCF. But for our young men that know that I told them what occurred on that field tonight will carry over for the rest of their lives, not only because of the opponent we beat, and they're a hell of a team. Obviously, they gave us everything we could handle and more. But fighting through adversity, never giving up, that will carry a long way. And those lessons are just as important as coming away with beating UCF. But I'm honored. Obviously, so many great coaches came before me here at this program. I just hope it's one of many. As you guys will know, I'll watch this game tonight, and I'll probably stay up all night and get ready for a great Temple team.
That was Ryan Silverfield last week after the UCF victory over Temple. He talked about this one against Temple, liked what he saw, but thought they could be a lot better, and they're going to have to be a lot better against Cincinnati.
I mean, Cincinnati's a better team. That Temple team, that was kind of a trap spot for Memphis, and it looked like it for a little while. And then, they were able to pull away and ended up getting a double-digit win. But, the Cincinnati team is way tougher. We've already seen a little bit of controversy coming out of this week, too. Can't go through the walkthrough at Nippert Stadium on Friday afternoon. They got to do it in a hotel parking lot. So, the line is what, 6.5, 7? Yeah, 6.5, 7. So, I expect it to be within that number too.
Memphis, how about these numbers for Memphis? They are 1-3 against the spread so far this season. 20-8, however, against the spread on the road when the total's between 56.5 and 63. So they got that going for them this week. They have won 3 of their last 4 against top 25. However, haven't won on the road against a top 25 opponent since 1993. Haven't won on the road against a top 10 opponent since 1975. They have been very good against Cincinnati. They've won 5 straight games against the Bearcats, averaging 38 points per game. But Cincinnati, a very, very good team this season, top 10 team, the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Yeah, well, and if you want to use the common opponent, the SMU team, they absolutely destroyed SMU last weekend, and we know Memphis did not destroy SMU.
No, they did not. Meanwhile, Alabama crushed UT. What's new? That was kind of expected. Jeremy Pruitt said after the game that he felt like they're really closing the gap.
On what?
I mean, it looked like every other game we've seen Tennessee, Alabama for the last decade.
Yeah, it looks like every time I watch Tennessee and Alabama play, it's a bloodbath for the most part. And now last year's was closer than even the final score indicated.
Yeah.
But other than that, they've just been bloodbaths.
I mean, Pruitt had to come out and say that he was happy to be at Tennessee after the game. I saw more probably this weekend, more fans from Tennessee on Twitter than I've seen in a long time, kind of restless at this point and ready to move on and ready to turn the corner. What are you going to do?
And you didn't expect to beat Alabama, but you want to see progress.
But also,
and there was no progress.
I mean, I think if you're Pruitt, you're like, look, we've had 2 really good recruiting classes in a row. We have all these young guys. The coaches are always like, I got to get my guys in there. Got to turn. But they've got a great offensive line. They've got great pieces around them. They have some good players on defense. Like, what's happening here?
Where are we going? Yeah, they don't have a quarterback. And, look, we've seen this over and over again. They gave him an extension at the beginning of the season before the season ever started, right. Which is like, how long is Fulmer? I mean, this is Fulmer's hire, though. Yeah. So Fulmer seems to be like, they did not want to hire Mike Leach or Greg Schiano.
Maybe they were right.
They stuck with this one. This is what Fulmer wanted. So Fulmer's going to ride this out, but this is absolutely on him whether it works or not. And so far it hasn't.
I mean, why would you extend a guy who lost to one of the directional Georgias and BYU last year at home? Yeah. Like, that just didn't feel right. I get that they went on a nice little run
that's the thing.
Towards the end of the season, but, let's wait till he actually all the way turns the corner, not looks like he's about to turn the corner before we extend him.
Yeah. Alabama, they are averaging 48.5 points per game this season. They are just 2-5 against the spread, taking on SEC opponents when they are a 30 or more point favorite. As a 31 or more point favorite, they are just 14-26 against that number. They come in as a 32-point favorite over Mississippi State. Alabama's won 12 straight in the matchup. State has averaged a total of 8.5 points per game. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
8.5. And the way they've looked the last couple of weeks, I don't know why that changed.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we talked about this with Alabama. After the Georgia game and what they did in the second half, we've realized, I mean, that Georgia defense is unbelievable. And Alabama still scores 41 against them.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to
And people
score.
still think Georgia's the best defense in the country.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, best defense I've seen in the country. You're still going to have to score in the 50s or 60s if you're going to beat Alabama, because they're going to score in the 40s on you.
Who would have put Sarkisian as like the top offensive coordinator in the country?
Yeah,
You
no
know?
kidding.
Yeah.
Speaking of Georgia, they take on Kentucky this week. They are a 15-point favorite. After watching Kentucky's offense last week, how are they going to do anything against the Georgia Bulldogs defense? Kentucky had 26 of, I believe, their 54 yards passing on one play in the fourth quarter, and that's all they were able to muster. Georgia's been great against the number, 29-17 in their last 46, 20-11 their last 31 against SEC opponents, 14-4 against the spread their last 18 on the road. 10 of their last 13 have gone under. Meanwhile, Kentucky 4-10 against the spread, coming off a conference loss. Georgia's won 10 straight in the series. 2 of the last 3 have gone over. And Florida Gators return to action this week. They'll take on the Missouri Tigers this week. The Gators are a 2-touchdown favorite against Mizzou this week. Mizzou looked good last week against Kentucky. Mizzou's looked good in their last 2 games, wins over LSU, win over Kentucky, but how good are those 2 opponents? This week they take on a tough Florida team. I guess Mizzou's hope would be Florida's rusty in this game.
I mean, they haven't practiced in a couple weeks, and they're still down a couple guys apparently and getting back to it. I mean, Florida's going to have to make some changes from the way they were playing before all this stuff started anyway. Defensively, they have nothing. Offensively, they look like one of those teams that's going to have to score 50 points a game if they're going to be good. And they might be able to score 50 points a game the way they were playing. Kyle Trask was good. The other Kyle Pitts was playing well. They've got a lot of good players around there, but defensively, there's questions.
Haven't been special.
Yeah, and I think your questions with Missouri on the other side are, the wins over LSU and Kentucky, they kind of caught both of them at good points.
Yeah.
They caught LSU, who thought they had a game the next week against Florida, and then they caught Kentucky sandwiched between Tennessee and Georgia, which are obviously much bigger games, and they were able. But credit to them, because they went out there, they performed, and they got the win both of those games. But yeah, this game is going to be more to all of it. It's about Florida. What does Florida look like? Can Florida challenge? Are they going to show that they have improved enough during this time off, this COVID layoff? Have they improved enough on the defensive side that people actually think they might be able to challenge Georgia for that SEC's title? Because what we saw before this, nothing that made me think that they could challenge Georgia.
Yeah, Florida's gone over the total 5 straight games. Mizzou is 3-1 against the spread so far this season. It's time for our fluid question of the week. Top 3 teams in the SEC. 1's Alabama, 2's Georgia. Who's number 3? I'm sticking with the team I went with last week, and I thought it was crazy last week. Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And I hate Texas A&M as number 3. I hate it.
I'm sticking with the team I stuck with. The team I picked last week.
South Carolina?
No,
You can't.
No, Arkansas.
Or no, you went South Carolina, didn't you?
I think Arkansas's defense is for real, and I mean they should be 3-1. They're a good team. They're a solid team.
So Arkansas A&M for 3rd place this week
sir.
in the SEC.
I'm gonna go to Lane's team. I'm gonna go to Arkansas.
Let's go.
A&M,
Really?
This game this weekend is not about Arkansas covering that number.
No.
It's about are they gonna win that game straight up?
Straight up.
They're better
going.
than Florida.
I mean, again,
They've been playing. They're in a rhythm. They have a defense.
Ballpark Franks. I mean, that'd be a revenge game if he got in that game against Florida.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break here on The Odds Couple. When we come back, Lance Taylor joins us from Birmingham. Also a special guest joining us here on the program. A little bit later, we got our picks for the weekend. It's all ahead here on The Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
I love the haircut. They tell me you've been getting beat up over it, Zach.
Say I look like I'm 25. I was in somebody said I was in Vegas. They said, "Is that Zion?" I said, "I paid away from little." I said, "That's my little brother."
Tune in to GrindCityMedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or on the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch Chris live or download each episode daily, and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today.
The debate is whether he's a star or a superstar right now, which is what the headline and sort of the tweet suggests. But I'm liking that discussion right now with Ja Morant at point guard.
Tune in to GrindCityMedia.com to follow Michael Wallace and Lang Whitaker as they debate the biggest topics in the NBA, the Grizzlies, it's IMHO. Mike and Lang will share their humble opinions on the hottest league water cooler news, providing insight, analysis, and a little heat. Watch and read weekly by visiting GrindCityMedia.com or follow on Twitter at GrindCityMedia today. What's up, Grizzlies fans? I'm Megan Triplett, and I have some exciting news to share. We have a new app. That's right. It's a 3-in-1 experience that you don't want to miss out on. Check this out. The app will keep you up to date on all of the Grizzlies stats and latest news. If you're looking to see what events are going on at FedEx Forum, that can all be found on the app as well. Plus, if you want to see more of me and the rest of the Grind City Media team, like Chris Vernon, Lang Whitaker, and Mike Wallace, there's a section for all that. It is 365 days of content to keep you in touch with all things Grizzlies, FedEx Forum, and GCM. And did I mention you can also purchase and manage tickets on the app? The app does it all. Download it now.
Welcome back to GrindCityMedia.com, live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Now, here's more of the odds couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, don't miss the newest Grind City Media show, Rise and Grind, with Jessica Benson and Megan Triplett. This duo brings a fresh, fun, and energetic double shot of morning vibes to catch you up on the latest in sports, entertainment, pop culture, and everything Memphis, with some completely biased, unfiltered discussions and a side of slightly above-average jokes. Tune in to GrindCityMedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch Jessica and Megan live or download each episode daily, and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today. Welcome back to The Odds Couple, everyone. Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker with you. John Roser in the house with us as well. CJ Hurt is here. We got a special guest coming up here in a few moments. Also, we got our picks coming up a little bit later on. The Arkansas Razorbacks. These two gentlemen believe Arkansas deserves to be ranked third in the SEC.
Put some respect on
You
their
know,
names.
I keep forgetting. I've got to find it. I don't know where it is. I have a hog hat.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a hog hat.
How do you not know where that is?
I have one.
How do you lose
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
It's like having one of those cheese head
You know,
things.
I've moved a couple times since I've had it, so I think it may have gotten lost somewhere. But I'll check around my place to see if I have it. If not, there's one or two other places it could be. But yeah, I need
One or two other places.
I had a buddy who we went to. I know a bunch of Arkansas fans, and one of the buddies who went up there, I was like, dude, you got to give me a hog hat.
All right.
And brought me back a hog hat.
Sam Pittman is the head coach of Arkansas. Yes, sir.
You better believe it.
Yeah, he is talking about Arkansas' strength so far this season, that being the defense.
Barry Odom is awesome. So is Sam Carter. So is Ryan Rhodes. So is Derek LeBlanc. Those guys on defense, they get their team ready to play. They have all kinds of tendencies where the back is, who's inside, who's outside, where numbers are. And they have the cut-ups for the kids, and the kids obviously watch it. And we're talented, and we got a talented group. We have a resilient group. And we have a group that can catch passes on defense and return them for touchdowns. I told the team that Morgan might, if I'm a running back, I might be a little bit worried about him because he took that one back to the house. But, they picked off 6 passes. They were in position to play well, and Barry Odom's a real deal. And I'm happy he's a great friend of mine. I'm also very happy he's on the staff.
Lance Taylor is the host of the Roundtable on WJOX in Birmingham. He also is on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor, and you can get his picks every day at lanceslock.com, and he joins us weekly here on The Odds Couple. Hello, Lance.
Good afternoon, fellas. Hope you guys are doing well.
Lance, Arkansas, third, no way, right?
No way. But with that said, Rob, I mean, who is third? I mean, right now, I guess, Alabama's obviously. Are we talking like SEC West or overall in the SEC?
Overall in the SEC, you got Bama, Georgia, and who?
Oh, it's Florida. Come on.
All right. I kind of agree with you, but I said A&M only because they beat Florida.
Okay, well, look, you can make that argument. Yeah, that's fine.
But I don't like that. I don't like that argument, though. I don't like the argument of A&M because I don't think they're that good either.
No, I don't either. And that's what's so difficult about this A&M Arkansas game to handicap. It's sitting at like 12.5, 13. And my gut says Arkansas, as you just heard Sam Pittman talk about how awesome this defense has been and Barry Odom, his ability to scheme, and Kellen Mond is just doing one of these collapse games. But at the same time, I watched Arkansas for the last couple of years, and I am just shocked at what Pittman and Odom have been able to do with that roster. And I'm just waiting for the Arkansas team that we thought would go 0-10 to show up. So I'm kind of torn on this game. I've seen Arkansas make quarterbacks look really bad, and I think this is a great spot for Mond to look really bad. But I'm just not sure. But I'm very confident saying Arkansas is not the third best team in the SEC.
No! If you're going to bet this game, it has to be Arkansas. You have to bet Arkansas. There's no.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have a hard time laying the double digits with again the inconsistencies in the past of Kellen Mond. It just you don't know what kind of wrinkles Odom's going to show here. So yeah, I do agree with you. I think they'll turn him over multiple times, and I think A&M's defense is probably getting a little bit better, so I wonder how Arkansas is going to be able to scratch and manufacture points. But I wouldn't feel great about it, but you're right. If I had to play it, I would play Arkansas.
Lance, Gus keeps hanging on by a thread, man, and it happened against Ole Miss, and this week they got LSU at home. Where's that roller coaster go this week?
God, I don't know, Rob. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I don't know how you want to describe this team, resilient, inconsistent, lucky, yeah. I think lucky's probably the best way to do it. You go back to, they realistically could be 0-5. I mean, that's just facts. Auburn fans don't want to hear it, but if Kentucky gets in there to end the first half, they're up a possession, and, maybe things turn out differently for Kentucky's offense in the second half. Definitely should have lost to Arkansas. And last week against Ole Miss, the ball hit Shiver's finger. I mean, you can't make the argument. A finger just doesn't bend backwards like that. Ole Miss would have gone up 8 with 5 minutes to go, and I think they go on and win that game. But, you give Auburn credit. They did drive down 2 fourth-quarter drives. Bo Nix played about as well as I've seen Bo Nix play. To me, Bo Nix is a very average quarterback, and he did it against maybe the worst defense in college football. But, again, they won on the road. They're sitting at 3-2. Now they get an LSU team that rolls in, and LSU goes from, with T.J. Finley starting, as a 4-point favorite against South Carolina, where the public was all over the dogs there. We had LSU. We laid the 4, felt really good, and never had to sweat that game. T.J. Finley played extremely well, made the one mistake. LSU was able to run up and down on that South Carolina defense. But you go from a 4-point home favorite to South Carolina to a 3-point road favorite against Auburn. I lean LSU here.
I was just going to say, I mean, can you bet that game? Like, what in the world? I have no idea what to expect from LSU and Auburn. Yeah. I have no idea what to expect from that game.
I'd stay away.
But the only thing I would say is Ensminger at least had a lot of balance on offense, where you go 276 on the ground against a decent South Carolina defense. I think it'll be much of the same. I don't know if Miles Brennan will play. I think if Miles Brennan's healthy with the abdominal injury, I think he's got to be back in the lineup. I mean, Finley looked good. I think there's a bright future there. But I think LSU's offense is going to be okay against what is an average Auburn defense. I don't trust Bo Nix in back-to-back games to have a good game. So, again, I think it's a little weird, though, guys, when you look at the number for South Carolina, or for LSU to be such a slight, skinny favorite at home against South Carolina, and they're basically the same favorite on the road against Auburn, which, it's kind of a coin flip with South Carolina. We saw that game. South Carolina won it, but it was in Columbia. It came down to a final possession. I mean, I truly expect this one to come down to a final possession, but if I've got to play it, I'm going to play LSU and lay the points.
Yeah. Cincinnati Bearcats are a team we got to pay attention to because they're a top 10 team in the country. Memphis Tigers have to go to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats this weekend. Tough spot here for Memphis. We saw Cincinnati, what they did to SMU. Memphis, of course, losing to SMU. And Cincinnati looks pretty explosive and pretty dangerous.
That was the best I've seen him look, Rob, this past weekend against SMU. And Ritter had a nice game, not much with the arm, but did a lot with the legs. Cincinnati, 313 rushing yards, held SMU to 76. They threw Bouchel out of balance. He was out of rhythm all night. And, when you just start to break down the game, Cincinnati was kind of sloppy. I mean, they had twice as many penalties, twice as many turnovers, and they still won the game by 29. So Cincinnati can be scary good. They're so physical. But you look at Memphis, they're getting 6.5 here. If Clark can have success running the football, opening things up for Brady White, obviously a quarterback that's got a lot of experience and a lot of talent, the thing that scares you, can Memphis slow down Cincinnati running the football? Memphis is 33rd nationally against the rush, only giving up 3.5 yards per rush, only 4 rushing touchdowns through 4 games. I kind of like Memphis grabbing the 6.5 here. I don't know if they can beat Cincinnati, but I think this is one of those typical AAC games that comes down to the wire, and I kind of like Memphis to cover the 6.5.
This week in the NFL, last week in the NFL, I was thinking of you and watching that Seattle game the other night, and if you had Seattle, how miserable that game was. I had Pittsburgh against Tennessee, and watching how almost miserable that game was. It's been pretty wild in the NFL, but I feel like it's starting to get a good grasp. You feel like you're getting a good grasp on the NFL?
Yeah, I told you guys last week that I try to be transparent when we talk about the service, and I had lost back-to-back Sundays, and I said, look, we'll dial it in this week. And we were 5-2 in the NFL, and one of the losses was Seattle. So realistically, we could have had a nice 6-1. I mean, I'll take 5-2 any week. But one of those losses was Seattle, and when you're up double digits, under 5 minutes to go in the NFL, typically you're going to hold on and cover that number. So that was a disappointing loss. But yeah, I think we're dialed in now. We're going to take a look at Pittsburgh team that Roser and I both have put in the Super Bowl, and they're the only undefeated team now in the NFL. Now they go on the road to take on Baltimore in division. Baltimore sitting at 5-2. This thing opened at 6.5. It's all the way down to 3.5. I like Baltimore at home minus 3.5. We know in the NFL teams just don't have perfect records, and I think this is a great letdown spot. I mean, I think there's so much hype with that Pittsburgh-Tennessee game, and I know Pittsburgh will be up for this game, but I think Baltimore's ability to run the football will be the difference here. I like the Ravens minus 3.5 Sunday.
Very good. Lance?
I think I'm kind of, the more and more I've thought about that game, I'm kind of there too. Much as I want Pittsburgh to win that game, because I think Lamar Jackson is insanely overrated.
Yet he beats every team in the league except Kansas City.
Yeah, and we'll see it when he gets to the playoffs too. If he plays any kind of decent team in the playoffs, we know what happens to Lamar Jackson at that point.
This is Roser's weekly flip-flop.
Yeah, he beats up on bad teams.
Hey, I'll trade for him, Roser. I'm a Rams fan, and Jared Goff is one thing that is holding the seat back.
I'm a 49ers fan, and I will not trade for Lamar Jackson because I don't think he's going to. I don't think he'd really be that much better. But anyways, I will say that I tend to lean with you on this. Baltimore had the week off too, so while Pittsburgh should have had an easy win, what looked like, ended up having to really fight to get that win against the Titans, and Baltimore did have that bye week. So I think it's a good spot for Baltimore.
Yeah. Lance's lock. What can people get when they go to the site?
Yeah, I mean, we're really rolling, and you get a lot of touts out there that, they're gonna paint it one way and they're gonna make themselves sound good week to week. You guys know that I'm very transparent. You can see our results every day at lanceslog.com. You never have to talk to anyone. It's $90 a month. It's the best value out there. I mean, most of these services are charging a couple $100 a week, a couple of $1,000 every season. It's $90 a month to get every play, including the World Series right now. We were 8-2 in college football last week. We were 5-2 in the NFL. We will continue to win for you. We give you a free play every day. And, again, you never have to talk to anyone. You get a password. You get your plays. No one's going to solicit you. No one's going to call your phone. It's very simple. It's $90 per month. Put down the card. Try us out. If you don't like it, get out after 1 month. We will win for you, though. Again, 8-2 in college last week, 5-2 in the NFL. Check it out, lanceslog.com.
Lance, always a pleasure, man. Thank you much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Yep, you guys enjoy the games.
All right, Lance. You too. Lance Taylor joining us from Birmingham and WJOX in Birmingham. And again, lanceslock.com. Speaking of the Steelers and the Titans, it was a heck of a football game. Big win for the Steelers as they remain undefeated. Titans suffer their first loss of the season. Big one for the Steelers this week as they take on Baltimore. Here's Mike Tomlin talking afterwards after that win over Tennessee.
Not a perfect product. We understand that. But I appreciate their efforts. We are perfect from a record standpoint. And so we respect that. We realize that we got AFC North ball next week on the road. We're going to a group, man, that has 7 days advantage on us. So there's a lot for us to be urgent about. We won't spend a lot of time celebrating this or appreciating this because it's just more work that lies ahead. But we like that element of the journey. And we're excited about assessing what's transpired, hopefully making necessary improvements and positioning ourselves for next week's challenge.
Well, it is AFC North ball, which means 5 of the last 6 that these two teams have played have gone under.
I love Mike Tomlin. My favorite coach in the league. Like, it's no nonsense with him.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite quote already of the NFL season is when he was asked when they had to take their bye week early, and it was like, Coach, are you concerned that you guys may have to play 13 weeks in a row? And he said, no, we do not care. Just looked right at him.
I liked Devin.
I love it.
Devin had a good tweet of it. He said Mike Tomlin on the post-game Zoom said, Devin said, looks like when my uncle tries to use FaceTime for the first time. Not completely comfortable there, but he gets a message
kind of
across.
A forehead shot.
Yeah.
We got a special guest with us this week, fellas.
Who's that?
And it is it's great to have him with us. He joins us via Skype. It is the great Vinny Verno joining us from Parts Unknown today. Vinny Verno.
I said I'd be there after I'm done with the friggin' pants.
Vinny,
what the hell?
Vinny Verno.
Hey.
This hair wig, Gray.
How's it going?
Hey, look at you like my Halloween costume? Hey, I got a Halloween costume on.
What are?
See it?
Yeah.
Item Cowboy. So, what do you guys want?
Well,
I had no idea you knew how to use Skype. First of all,
yeah.
Congratulations.
I knew how to use Skype.
I mean, you still look at
Skype.
You still use the newspaper to look at the lines.
He invented Skype.
Do you? We
sponsor. Who's my sponsor today? We sponsored?
No, we're not.
Sponsored. Oh, wait. Of course we're not sponsored.
But it's coming.
Yeah. Today's Vinny Verno and these picks brought to you by Gold Bond Friction. Put that on your nads.
I do every day.
TMI.
I do every day.
That stuff is so needed. You ever had your balls just get stuck to the side of your leg? Oh. Hey, it's Halloween week.
Yes.
You guys know, hey, I'll tell you a little joke here. You know how skeletons make babies?
No.
They bone.
This is why we had you on today, Vinny Verno. But we also want a game. Yeah.
Not a lot I'm in love with, but I will say this. I read that both the Wisconsin guys, starting quarterback got COVID, backup quarterback got COVID. That's an immediate lock, so we're taking Nebraska probably. You can't win on the road with your third-string quarterback. We'll probably take Auburn just because it doesn't matter if they win or they lose. The refs cheat so that they win. We'll put $25,000 on it in honor of Lane Kiffin. But I got one pick, one mortal lock, one bloodbath that you can bet your life on.
All right. We're waiting.
Buy Gold Bond. Rub it on your balls.
All right.
You know why the ghost couldn't have kids?
No.
He had a Halloweenie.
Oh, my.
All right. Rutgers. They're an 11.5-point underdog against Indiana. Indiana just got the greatest win in the history of their whole school. So they're all making out with each other all week. They're in love with themselves. They probably shouldn't have won the game anyway. The kid stretched out. Barely made it. Probably didn't. And Rutgers went up to Michigan State and beat their ass. Now, Rutgers, 100% against the spread. 100% as an underdog. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Vinny Verno, they only played one game. Who cares? Vinny Verno watched the game. Still loves Rutgers. Greg Schiano made us millions. And until Vegas catches up to this, we're going to ride them. Indiana probably didn't deserve to win. And then they went to the locker room and they did we love you, coach. That is what we call conditional love. When they get their ass kicked by Rutgers, they ain't going to love that guy. Now.
I thought he was gone.
Yes.
Hey, you know what you call a Halloween boner?
No.
Petrified wood. And that's what I'm going to have watching this game. Rutgers plus 11.5, but we don't need them. They're winning straight off. Rutgers 2-0. Ciano 2-0. 2-0 as an underdog. 2-0 straight off. Petrified wood. Game of the year.
Thank you, Vinny Verno.
How about this? It took us until this point in the show to mention the Big Ten.
Yeah, how about that? And Vinny Verno did it.
Yeah. Well, we had to. Of course, Vinny would give us something.
And the thing, the Big Ten had the game of the week. That Indiana Penn State game was awesome. I mean, the finish to that. I mean,
which is weird. That line with Ohio State, Penn State.
Yeah.
Weird one this week. We're going to have a pick on it, though, when we come back.
And Penn State just lost another running back done for the season.
And Michigan State's terrible.
Michigan State's terrible.
I know Vinny's going with Rutgers, but yeah.
But Rutgers was terrible. Greg Schiano, he's the Rutgers whisperer.
Chopping wood.
Just chopping wood.
Petrified wood.
We'll be back for the Odds Couple
Rub
here
some stuff on it.
Grind City Media.
Hey yo, happy Friday. It's time to rise and grind. I'm Jessica Benson.
Did you say hey yo?
Hey yo. I'm Megan
It's a Friday.
Come
Yes.
on. We have a big show lined up for you today. We've got all sorts of things to talk about within the NBA bubble, NFL updates, college football updates.
We got to get to some pop culture news. It's the music, the entertainment, everything going on.
All the stories to get you through today and into your weekend.
Rise and Grind with Jessica and Megan. Live daily at 8 a.m. on grindcitymedia.com.
In everything we do, defensive activity, offensive execution, play together, have an edge about us. Just play with an edge. Play with an edge and play together.
Durant, blocked for Jaron, blocked by James. Dylan Brooks with authority. Tyus Jones to Brandon Clark. A turn and gun. He got it. Jones for three. Jones blocked by Jaron.
Yeah, stay together, Blue. Stay together. Way to roll me, kid. Let's leave it out there.
Ja Morant with elevation.
Once a week, get your basketball fix with Talkin' Grizz featuring me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, and media from around the NBA as we discuss draft topics, prospects, and more. Connect with Grind City Media on all their social channels, subscribe to Grind City Media YouTube, and follow Grind City Media on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with all things Grizzlies.
Welcome back to the Odds Couple on grindcitymedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Here's the Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, get the Grizzlies delivered to your door, or virtual meeting, or inbox. We miss you, Grizz Nation. Until we're all back at FedEx Forum, we want to meet you where you are. Whether that's a Grizz appearance at your outdoor socially distanced event, a Grizz Girl pop-in to lead a brief brain break in a virtual classroom, or a pre-recorded video message delivered to that special someone. We want to make life a little brighter and a lot more Grizz-tastic. All your favorite Grizz family members, including Grizz Girls, your in-arena MCs, and even your grannies and grandpas, are all standing by and just a few clicks away. Visit grizzlies.com/on-demand today and make your request. Welcome back to the Odds Couple, everyone. As we wrap things up here this week, getting you set for another weekend of football, including that game that is very difficult to try and pick, LSU Auburn. I'm with you, Roser. I think this is one that you just probably stay away from.
But you're making us pick it.
But I'm making you pick it, yep. Lance brought up a great point. I mean, for LSU to be a 3-point home favorite against South Carolina and then to go on the road as a 2-point favorite against Auburn, just that doesn't really add up much.
No. It's a little bit of everything. LSU's got a weird quarterback situation.
Yeah.
And now Auburn, you don't know what you're going to get from them. Like game to game, play to play, you don't know what Bo Nix is going to do. It's really hard to read either one of these two teams.
Yeah, it really is. LSU 2.5-point favorite at Auburn this week. Ed Orgeron, is there a quarterback controversy?
It might be on y'all part. I mean, everybody's just yearning for it. I can feel it. It ain't gonna be on our part. I tell you that. You know, I mean, Miles is our starting quarterback. And TJ has done a great job. I don't know when Miles is going to be ready. Miles is going to be our starting quarterback. But I know this. If Miles ain't doing well, I can put in TJ and feel good about it.
I thought he looked great.
He looked good. I saw something today that I hadn't really considered, that Brennan this year is not going to count toward eligibility stuff for these guys. So he could play 3 more years. He could play this year and 2 more seasons after this and be like the long-term quarterback he was there before Burrow was there.
Yeah.
And now he could still stick around for a long time. So I don't think there's a quarterback controversy. Like I feel like it's his job, and he's been
maybe
there
with
forever.
you guys.
Yeah.
The home team has won 17 of the last 20 in this series. 7 of the last 8 played at Auburn have been decided by 1 score, as we expect a very close game. And the last 5 at Auburn between these two teams have gone under as well.
Roser,
why are you making us pick this game?
You got to go as Coach O for Halloween.
Oh, maybe I should go, Coach O. I gotta get some Red Bull and maybe my girl. Apparently, I broke up with my girlfriend because her ex-boyfriend was showing her boobies all around the internet. Did y'all hear about that?
I don't know what you're talking about. I was thinking either that or just bulk. I told Roser my thought for Halloween is just bulk up on protein shakes and be Bryson DeChambeau.
Sure, yeah. Just get yourself a cute little hat.
Yeah, get the Paint Stewart hat. Did y'all really not hear the story about Orgeron? Did you not see the pictures of him with the girl
I saw
he
the
was
picture
dating?
with the other one.
Yeah, like the blonde.
Yeah.
Very attractive woman. So apparently she has an ex who is not too happy about her dating at Orgeron. And he started releasing some explicit text message pictures that she had sent him from when they were together, started putting them out all over the internet, and so Orgeron dumped her.
Well, interesting you say that because Orgeron's 6-0 against the number when explicit pictures of his ex.
That's quite a segue there.
All right, time for our picks this week. I'll go ahead and get started with Fish's 5. Yeah, I got the jacket on this week, but it ain't happening. Cincinnati Bearcats, they are taking care of business against the Memphis Tigers. Cincinnati just too powerful. Memphis won't be able to keep up as Cincinnati outscores them in a shootout. I'll take the Bearcats. I like LSU minus the 2.5. Ohio State, 12.5 just doesn't seem like enough after watching them play last week, after watching Penn State play last week. I think Ohio State already looks.
You can get that at 11.5 right now, too.
I'll make sure I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Get it twice.
So I like Ohio State. I like the Baltimore Ravens over the Steelers because, again, the Ravens, the only team they lose to are the Chiefs. So why would that change this week? And I'm taking the Patriots. I don't know. They're not very good. Bills haven't looked very good the last 2 weeks either. But to me, Bill Belichick losing the 3rd game in a row, I don't see it. I can't see it happening. I'm still not ready for the torch to be handed over in the AFC East. So I'm going with the Patriots getting 4 points against Buffalo.
Rob, the torch has been handed. The AFC East is on fire. And I'm going with the Bills in that game. And then I think Memphis has turned a corner. I feel like if they're in a shootout, they're going to outscore Cincinnati in that game. Auburn, LSU, everyone's going to LSU. I think Auburn's lucky. I think Gus Malzahn has a rabbit's foot or something. And I'm going to ride Gus Malzahn in this one and take Auburn. Ohio State, same as you. I think they're just going to blow them out. And I'm going to stick with Pittsburgh. They're good. They're rolling. They're beating teams and figuring out ways to win. I'm going to stick with the Steelers.
All right.
I'm going to roll with Memphis. I think Memphis will cover that number. Obviously, 6.5 if you're going to bet it by the hook and buy it at 7 so you don't get beat by it. I'll take LSU. I just don't think Auburn's good. I don't know how good LSU is, but I think this will be the week where it doesn't work in Auburn's favor. And because of Lane Kiffin making a big deal about it, officials are going to have to give the edge of the whistle to LSU. I'm going to take Ohio State. My thought before that line ever came out was if it's under 2 touchdowns, take Ohio State. It took them a half to really get going. Once Nebraska got out of their scripted plays, Ohio State just bombed them. Pittsburgh, I'm going to take the Steelers plus the points. I know I told Lance I probably would ride with Baltimore now, especially because it's down at 3.5. We have 5.5 here. I'll take Pittsburgh, and then I'll take Buffalo. New England is bad.
Flip-flopping again.
Yeah. CJ, who you got this week?
Memphis is quite possibly the worst pass defense in the nation going up against Ritter and Cincinnati. I'm going to take the Bearcats in that one. LSU, if they don't play baby Jamarcus Russell, I don't know what they're doing. So, but I'll take them in this game no matter
baby
who.
Jamarcus
That's
Russell.
what he looks like. I watched it like, when did they get Jamarcus Russell on the field? That's great.
He's huge. He's got a great arm.
Jamarcus in college, phenomenal. We're not worried about the NFL right now. Jamarcus in college was great. If they go with him, certainly that's a quarterback I think they need to be playing. But I'll take them no matter who the quarterback is. I think luck runs out for Auburn. This Penn State game is tricky because Penn State always plays Ohio State tough. We've had a bunch of really close games in that matchup. I think Indiana is good, and I think that Penn State got caught looking ahead to that Week 2 matchup against Ohio State. I'm going to take Penn State there. They're getting 12.5. I will also take Pittsburgh. And come on, man, it's Buffalo. Like that's my team.
Are you still a believer?
I'm still a believer, Bill. I'm still believing, baby.
Right.
Let's go.
Doesn't
matter.
Who you going off the board with this week?
SMU's playing somebody I don't know, but they're minus 15. I'm taking them.
Navy.
Is that who they're playing? And Green Bay's got to be playing Detroit because I took them too. I have no clue. who they're
Minnesota.
playing. Okay, even better.
Yeah.
So I'm taking them. Yeah, that's why.
I'm going with Green Bay as well as one of my picks off the board this week. Minus the 7 against the Minnesota Vikings. Green Bay got it back last week, and Minnesota just hasn't been very good. I'm going Georgia Bulldogs with my other one, minus the 15 against Kentucky. I just don't know how the Wildcats are going to score in this game, and I think Georgia will be able to score because I think they're going to have the ball. Kentucky had the ball 16 minutes against Missouri. Yeah. 16 minutes. So what are they going to have it against the Bulldogs? So those are my two off the board this week.
Last week I had an under. I went under on the,
and covered it by 25
yeah,
points
on UVA Miami,
which is amazing.
So I'm going to go under again this week off the board. I'm going with the Titans Bengals under 54.5. Two teams that aren't really that explosive offensively, ball control, that kind of stuff. I mean, Burrow's been great, but the Bengals have been bad. So I'm going to go under on that one, and then let's go over Alabama Ole Miss over 74. And that's what I said. Roser was like, no, Alabama plays Mississippi State. And it's 63.5. And I said, I don't care. I'll still take it.
By the way, if they were playing Ole Miss, you
Again.
would be right.
Yeah.
Because the over would have hit
Again.
easy.
So anyway, Alabama, Mississippi State, 63.5 over. I'll go with that.
How many of them does Alabama have?
Probably most of them, I would think. Maybe like 80%, something like that.
Yeah. But now that I look at this sheet and I see our standings here.
Here comes a flip-flop.
I have 25 and 26. But when I cover, I cover.
Yeah.
Like I do cover when I actually do.
I mean, you're up 85.5 Grind City units.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of units.
We'll explain what that means one day.
Yeah, one day. You got to make it to the Grind City Resort and Casino.
That's where you can cash it in.
That's where you can cash them in. Yeah.
I can't wait to get there because I've been wondering what the hell is this?
You cash in.
It's there.
Those Grind City units. I am going to roll with CJ's squad. I'm going to roll with the Michigan Wolverines. That line has actually come down now. I can get Michigan minus 23.5 against Michigan State. I will take that 23 and a half. And the other one I'm going to roll because I can get it. I just looked at my phone. I can get it at 13. I can get Arkansas plus 13 against Texas A&M. I will take Arkansas plus the 13.
All right.
I think that Lang and I talked about this off the air. I think, and CJ does not want to admit it because I guess he doesn't want to jinx himself. I think Michigan State might be the ATM. Like they might be like bad.
They're really, really bad.
Yeah.
And Michigan's good. Like Michigan's actually
I
good.
think Michigan's good. I think Michigan might be good.
Michigan has a quarterback.
Yeah,
they still can't cover a crossing pattern. They still do that bravissimo type thing. We're going to play everybody man to man, one-on-one. If you can run a crossing pattern, you got the same type of athletes that Michigan has. They're going to get slaughtered.
Well, there's only one team in the Big Ten who has better athletes.
It's two. Penn State, 3. Penn State, Wisconsin, and Ohio State.
Well,
and I've seen
is Michigan State one of those? No.
Michigan State
is
Michigan State's going to play the exact same way. They're going to try to line up and this is Michigan State football, and we're just going to play powerhouse.
Just stop doing that.
Michigan's going to
stupid.
Michigan's going to beat them 48-7. 48-7.
I like Michigan. I like their quarterback. I enjoyed watching them last week. That was pretty dominating.
Shout out to Jim Harbaugh.
Shout out to the Cats.
Why are y'all shouting him out? Has he beat Ohio State yet?
No.
Okay.
Well, he's probably not going to.
Could be a big weekend for the Harbaughs.
You do know the Big Ten. Dude, this is this deal with the Big. There are 25-star recruits that play in the Big Ten. 25-star.
19 of them are at Ohio State.
14 of them are at Ohio State. 14 of them play at Ohio State. Hey. And guess what? They have what is it? 4 or 5 already committed for next year, and 3 5-star recruits who have not committed yet. Ohio State's their leader. So, there's just going to be more on the way. Get ready for Ryan Day to just dominate that conference for a long
Auburn
time.
can beat Alabama occasionally, once every 3 or 4 years, Michigan can find a way to beat Ohio State.
Well,
that's all we're
then
asking.
Jim Harbaugh needs to go talk to Gus Malzahn.
Get that lucky rabbit foot, Jim.
He might be their offensive coordinator by this time next year.
Or maybe he could talk to Jeremy Pruitt and see how to close the gap.
Yeah,
close the gap.
Because the gap has been closed.
Yeah, the gap has been
closing all right.
All right. That's going to do it for us here today on The Odds Couple. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy all the football action this weekend. Thank you, Lang, Roser, CJ, Kimball. I'm Fish. Enjoy your weekend of football. We'll be back next week. Talk about another week of the SEC, the National Football League, and some action around the top 25 and the Tigers. Go Tigers, go this week against Cincinnati. I know I didn't pick them, but big one for the Tigers. Go make me wrong this week. Hasn't been very difficult. We'll be back next week here on The Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
You've been listening to The Odds Couple from the American Home Shield Studio on GrindCityMedia.com. Tune in next week for more football handicapping with Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.